Welcome back to Teaching Technology. In this video, we will be describing what we did in our last video comprehensively and simply explained, all in TypeScript. This video gets 50 likes. I will continue building on this website while also explaining it step by step, creating a comprehensive website all for you in TypeScript, as well as connecting it to MetaMask and creating an NFT of one of these Christmas trees, just depending all on your feedback. Let's get right into the code. So the first thing that we have here is in line 5, this is how you build a app.tsx file. Because it is a typed language, you have this react.fc. If we were to add any components, like we have here, our props, we would all build that into the FC. So let's get into our top bar. So the first thing that our top bar does is that we are really just doing a lot of CSS. So let's explain the CSS. So the first thing that we're doing is we have the position absolute. So we're making sure that this intro, let me go to the top bar, I'm sorry. That this intro for Christmas template is right here. And this is all wrapped in a div. So let's look at logo. So we're going to align our items to the left. We have our width fit to content and then our position absolute. Next we have our tree template. Which we called body. Here we have an interface for a string. We didn't actually call that, but we were originally going to call it, and basically that would have just been some kind of word that was associated with our props here. The next thing we did is we had a use memo hook, similar to the use state hook. Let's actually break that down. So basically when you want to cache a series of values that do not need to be recalculated. To cache the value of a calculation between re-renders. So if you want to have a series of pictures, I think it's a little bit better to use memo than use state. And why do you use it? Performance. The use memo hook can be used to keep expensive, resource-intensive functions from needlessly running. So what we did was that we had a trees.typescript file. It exported a bunch of images. Called those here in a series of objects. We used a map. We also use grid and row. It's a lot easier than using CSS Flexbox. This is a npm package. Oh, that's actually not it. Let me see. Look at my package.json. It will tell me. React Flexbox grid. So if you go to npmjs.org or .com, you'll be able to get all of these packages. And here we go. React Flexbox grid. You install it here. We called it where we have a series of rows and grid where we can just have the trees running in rows. The next, we're going to use one of the most famous React functions or one of the premier ones, which is map. This will be on a lot of job interview questions as well. And we're going to use .map, where we're going to call a value and a key. When you return the key, we're going to call that image, just a class name, pick one. We're going to use this value because it's basically a key pair system. And we're going to call that .tree. Oh, right here. From this property tree. And then the same thing for price. Put that in the row. Like I said, this is just a basic template. Kind of just wanted to showcase how it's easy to create websites very quickly with a top bar div. Here we could have done a search bar. It really just depends on where we want to go with this. If we want to have, when we use React Router, have multiple pages, we could have a search bar all in this top bar here. We could do a sign up in this left corner. When we get to blockchain, we probably have our sign up to blockchain right here, this top corner. And then finally, let's get to our footer. That's when we could do some type of signature, maybe our social media, etc. And here we just did a simple one where we just wrapped it in a footer. But we also could have had it in a class name here. In this footer, we just kind of made the background color aquamarine. And that is the template simply explained. Like and subscribe, and we will make this a more comprehensive website in TypeScript and Solidity so that you can have a holiday edition portfolio project all for free on the YouTube. Like and subscribe. One last thing to explain. I just want to showcase how I actually got this site up here. So first things first, let's just cd into our repository. I don't remember what it was called. Christmas edition template. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to actually upload something to GitHub itself. You should already know it, but let's just break it down one last time. So as you can see, we already have it here. First command you're going to do is you're going to use get init. As you can see, we already have it in our repository. So one more thing here. So you're going to create a repository name. We already have our name, but let's just create something simple here just to have a repository. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do this command right here, get remote add origin. I'm obviously not going to hit enter here because we already have it in our repo, but that's the command that we're going to utilize. The next command we're going to utilize is get add space period. Just adding some simple stuff right here. Then we're going to do a commit. See, commits are very integral to coding, especially when you're working on a team. So let's just call it YouTube commit here. And then finally, we're going to do get push origin master. And I can just delete this because it's not that important. And as you can see here, we have everything pushed and we have everything in our repo here. But what that does not do is it does not get our project to actually show up here. So what we actually did is that we created another branch called GH pages. And let me show you how we did that. So let's open up the code using code space period. And let's full screen that bad boy. So the first thing that we actually do is we go in our package.json file and we want to install GH pages right here. And we do that with our, let me knock that out real quick. And we actually do that by going into npm.js.com. And we're going to search GH pages. And it's the first one here. Publish to GH pages branch on GitHub. And we're going to download this right here. It's probably going to say something like you already have the package or something of that means. Which sometimes you do get this command, and to beat that command is just by doing -- force, but we don't need to do that because we already have it installed, as you can see here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in our scripts and we're going to add 2 new scripts here. A pre-deploy script, npm run build, and a deploy script for gh-pages-d build. And then to actually, one more thing. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a home page, and we're going to make it an HTTPS. And it's good to just use the name of the repo. So you can see here the name of the repo is Christmas edition -template -site, as in here. So you're going to just make that the name of the site, and bam. So the next thing that you're going to do, well, you can opt to just go with npm run deploy, but I like to do this command first just to see if there's any errors. I like to build everything, do a pre-deploy script, and then I like to deploy it. So you're going to run npm run build here, and it's going to say creating an optimized production build. And then when you deploy it, you will get this extra branch right here for GH pages. And by the way, it will be the same thing if you had, a GoDaddy account. It worked the same way. You would just go here. Didn't mean to do that. You would just go here in settings, and under pages, and where it says custom domain, you would put your actual GoDaddy or whoever your domain provider is, and you'd put that custom domain here, and it'd work the same way. Then under branch, for source, just leave it deploy from a branch, and then go GH pages and root, and then you're going to hit save. And then finally, the final command that we're going to run is npm run deploy. And by the way, if you do, and eventually we will be working with custom domains on this channel, when you do actually get to custom domains, when you hit that npm run deploy, you will actually have to update the custom domain every time, but we'll get there. And give it a second, and it will reload, and you'll have your website here. So in the next coming videos, we will add more things to this. I think we will do a sign-in in the next video. In this series, we will add a sign-in here. And if this video gets 50 likes, we will add an API. And as you can see, it says published.